Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Star Wars Desperate Gamble here on Roll20. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. Mine's been a little hectic. We didn't get to do a GM stream yesterday because my power was out. So that's fun. The day, and it's crazy because the day was like sunny, shiny weather, like super not not the kind of day you think your power would go out, you know? So that's unfortunate, but you know, we're here for the show. It's working. My computer is holding together. I had a little technical issues before the show, so hopefully it doesn't blue screen in the middle of this episode. But if we do,
oh my God, why would you call that down on us?
If we do go down, yeah, that's why. Just so you know. How's everybody doing? What's new with my wonderful cast this week? Any fun news? Or not fun news, like we can bitch too.
I made chocolate tea, and it's just plants that have like a very chocolatey flavor to them.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I put them inside of a like energy drink bottle, and I'm like, why does it taste like? Oh, that's right. I forgot that I put that in there. That's my fault.
Yeah,
It was
now your brain is doing weird things.
Because I was like, that's not strawberry banana. Something's wrong.
You put like another beverage in there and then forgot, like you looked at the label and it was wrong.
100% baby brain. I'm like, no, it says strawberry banana. It has to be that.
Do you have a problem with object permanence?
Yes, I do. It's worse when it's my glasses. Like it's
oh, no.
I'm like, oh, guess I'll die. And then I like go to sit down somewhere, and that's where my glasses are right next to me. Like,
is that how you broke them?
No, my dog sat well, kind of. I guess technically.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Huh. Just had a lot of processing just then.
Ah, yes.
You
yeah,
know?
I could see you go through the 7 stages, like right there. You know.
100%.
Okay, well, other than Gabe's beverage mishaps, anybody else got any anecdotes from the week? Anything we want?
No journeys of self-discovery prompted by beverages. No.
I don't think anybody can beat that. Gabe has the ability to come in here and just like one up without trying too hard because he's just got this amazing and strange life.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. It's amazing. I'll take it.
Great.
I got pulled into a cool news project that I'm not allowed to talk about, but I'm really excited about.
It makes it so easy to talk about here on this.
I know.
Jeez.
But like I just like being able to tell people I'm working on something that's super cool. Even though I can't talk about it, I'm really excited to be doing it.
Great.
So
awesome.
I don't know when I'm going to be able to talk about it either. So, and I had chicken nuggets. Yeah, I had chicken nuggets today because it's pretty much all my body will let me eat right now. Anxiety is awful, y'all. Take care of yourselves because sometimes your body and your brain are not doing the things you want them to do.
When do they do what you do want them to do?
I don't know, but
I
don't know, but I guess my other advice for today is if you haven't had a water yet, have a damn water. Drink a beverage of some kind.
Advice.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Drinking it live.
We're drinking it live.
Well, today I am.
It's like if you're having a rough time,
there you go.
It's really easy to go, have I eaten a food or had a water? Is my sleep schedule all right now? And that's usually like what you can kind of crack it down to.
I wasn't sure what the volume of a water was, so I just drank the whole glass, and that'll be.
You know what? I think that's fairly sufficient. Because that just means that when you go on break, you can get more.
It's true. So. I don't. It's fine. It's whatever. I probably should have paced it because I have to talk a lot now. But yeah.
Wah.
Fucking seize the day, Like,
yep. Carpe that diem.
How about you, Dave? Anything cool this week? Any good stuff? I saw you on Final Fantasy briefly. I don't know if that.
Yeah. Patch came out. I think I mentioned it like last week, which is cool. But I'm still in that spot where I don't know. Everything takes so long in MMOs. There's no like instant gratification.
It's true.
You're like, oh yeah, I'd love to get this armor set that looks cool. How long is that going to take me? I don't know, 3 hours a day for 3 weeks. And you're just like,
Oh.
No, I don't want to anymore. I don't want to. I'll do the story and then I'm just going to log off.
It's a lot. That's kind of a lot.
But I have played a lot of Bravely Default 2. I'm at 65 hours played, and I think I can get the for reals ending now.
Oh, nice. There's like
It
a
jukes you out.
secret one.
It jukes you out twice.
Wow.
You mean like do it in 4 hours?
You mean like it comes to an ending and then it's just like that's the
ending? I've seen the credits twice and it's not the end of the game.
What?
It's like Lord of the Rings.
I mean that sounds like some Monster Hunter shit where it's like, you killed Magnemalo, run the credits, and then it's like, oh yeah, but there's like all this high rank stuff that you can do now.
You just get a bad end, and you're just like, what? What's this bullshit? And you just like load it up again, and it's like, actually, maybe there's a better thing. Oh, okay.
At the end of the credits, they run the teaser, they run the Marvel style credits sequence teaser, and you're like, oh no, there's more game.
It's kind of like
for now. Thank you.
That kind of makes me think about the way Undertale does that sort of as well.
Undertale's the whole time.
Man, Undertale is my favorite game. I need to play it again.
That doesn't surprise me about you.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Cool. I hope it's not a bad thing.
I mean, it's not. I'm just saying it's not surprising. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's the kind of game I imagine you would like.
Yeah, it's a compliment if you're thinking of the pacifist run.
Yeah, I have not yet.
Incredible shade if you're on the killing run.
I did both.
I have not been able to work up the courage, I guess is the right word, to do a genocide run. I don't think I could ever do that to those poor characters.
It's morally wrong.
They're
my babies and I love them.
I think I fought the really hard genocide run boss for 4 hours straight on stream, just repeating it, trying to get it. It's like learning the muscle memory of having to do it before things happen. You know what I mean?
It's punishing you for picking wrong and doing a thing with your life.
Yeah, but Dave, may I posit to you an alternate?
What?
You haven't done the thing that you do with many games, which is do any style of completionism if you haven't done a genocide run. So actually, I'm more complete at Undertale than you are.
No.
Wow.
That's not true.
So this is not exactly what I intended when I mentioned that I really loved Undertale.
This is where the battle lines are drawn for the Roll20
I've not actually played Undertale. I only watch people play it. So I'm at 100% completion of nothing.
Of nothing. Nice.
Yeah,
I win again.
Undertale has to be
You win again? What?
This is the thing. I'm not entirely sure. It's really, this is probably strange. I'm not sure I am a completionist when it comes to video games.
Most people aren't.
I know a couple of people who are really dedicated to doing every single aspect of the game, and I applaud them, their patience, that's something that they're really into. But I'm really straightforward and just I just want to play the game. Even for me, when I was playing Skyrim, I was just sort of I don't really care about the side quests. I just want to do the story. And the side quests are good because they help you level up and you die less often. But I was also just I don't want to do all this extra stuff. I just want to play. But then I'd also die all the time. So I was just fine. So yeah, I'm terrible at games like that because I'm just give me a straightforward linear plot line that I can do, and I'll do it. I have one game where I'm realizing I do have to go back and do some level grinding, and I'm not excited about it.
The only correct time to increase or progress a main story is when there is literally nothing left to do.
Yeah, and that's not how I feel about him.
You're two sides of the same coin for sure.
Yeah.
No. Tomb of Annihilation, I was why are we look at all those hexes.
Could you imagine
there's so many hexes.
Can you imagine how little of that game we would have played if we'd gone to every fucking hex on that board?
Oh, it'd be really boring as well, because the rest of the tables are really light.
I'm a little bit sad we never got to meet the whale, but
Big Love.
Whale would have been fun.
Big Love 2. Bigger Whale.
Big Love was good, but I'm a little bit sad that we didn't get a shot at the whale because the whale mission sounded super fucking cool.
There is definitely a whale in Rhyme for sure, but
Is there a whale in Star Wars? You go Star Wars whale.
I mean,
space
there
whales?
there are space creatures that could be considered whale-like, I think.
Not on a planet, like,
but I mean,
swimming through space.
But
like
I mean,
Monster
the great thing about you saying "Are there space whales?" is that there are now, because Chad has heard you and they control.
I've heard its request.
They control the hive mind that is the Discord full of ideas. So
like that worm that follows you through the asteroids.
Are blimp sharks not enough for you, Dave?
I want a bigger blimp shark. I want a blimp shark I can land my spaceship on.
There is a bigger one.
Sick. I want to hunt it.
I do not want to be eaten by. Oh my God, is this your Moby Dick mission? Are you just?
Well, I wouldn't.
We have
there's a
turned
large
Tommy
white blimp
Brogbo
shark.
into Ahab, and now are on a mission to get our great white blimp shark.
Yeah, won't use a blaster, but will use a harpoon gun.
Hey,
Leah, what are you doing?
So how about
What is he
our
doing
last,
now?
my last interrogatory
you know he was
question?
stealing.
How about you, Andrew? How's things?
Oh, I had some rough sleep last night, so I'm a little out of it, to be honest. But I'm here. I made it.
I feel that. I feel similarly in the like, this whole week has just been like a weird depressive haze. But I don't want to get into that. But I basically have like not done a lot of work I should have done. Like, this week.
You.
And I was like, my computer fritzed out about an hour ago and like blue screened because of the power outage from earlier. And I thought to myself, maybe my computer won't work. Maybe I can be depressed some more. But then I was like, no. Star Wars.
Spend time with us.
Star
You get to spend time with us.
It'll be fun once we get there.
Yeah.
Definitely
know that feeling of like slightly dreading an RPG session, and then once you start playing it, it's actually good.
I think for me that comes up especially as a GM, where I feel this like dread about it, but once I'm at the table and we're like playing the game, it's like totally fine as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that.
I hope the dread lessens with time.
Oh, I mean, there isn't any anymore. Because we're doing the thing.
Yeah. But I just mean over time in general, not just. But was he actually stealing something, Gabe?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes, he was.
It's just so funny. It's so funny because you looked at me like, how did you know he was stealing? So I was like, I know what that tone of voice means when you talk to him.
That's just what he does. He was stealing a shoe, and he wasn't even like taking it. He was like just putting his face in the shoe spot. I mean, in the foot spot, and I'm like, dude, that's weird. Please just stop.
Yeah, my cat does that.
And then
dogs' heads are vaguely shoe compatible in shape, though.
And then when I was saying no, he was just like flinging it up, and I'm like, if you hit me with that.
I love your dog,
and
I really hope I get to meet him one day.
Sure.
He just brings me joy.
He punches people though.
Oh, he can punch me all he wants. He just want to beat your dog.
Don't let him do that. Don't let him bully you.
No.
He does that
I mean, I let a lot of other people bully me. What's a dog?
Worse. Well, no, not worse. Better.
Different.
To call to your like, I hope the despair lessons from earlier, Aki. I think we all have our own creative processes, and sometimes despair is a part of that creative process. You know what I mean? And you just gotta get there, right? You gotta get through it.
That's totally fair.
It powers you towards trying not to do the thing that you want.
Listen, it's like that it's like Darkest Dungeon, right? Where you get to the max stress level and then you have to break one way or the other, right? And you gotta make sure you've got the buffs and the items to slide towards breaking like heroism or bravery or whatever, rather than like masochism or whatever else, the other things that come up. And it's like Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, that's okay. That's my metaphor now. It's bad, but that's what it is.
No, I rocked this many years ago. It's depression is the dark souls of being alive.
Oh no! In that it's full of elitist jerks.
In every sense, like every way you take that, I'm correct. It's the best thing I've ever said.
Apparently, the best thing I've ever said on Twitter is that Final Fantasy tweet about rotations being complicated. It's just like my most successful tweet ever for no reason.
People do like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I don't get it. The tweet is something like Final Fantasy rotations start out as they teach you how to do 2 + 2, and then say, but you can figure out vector calculus for yourself, right?
I don't get it.
But anyway, I've mused enough about random shit. We should probably play some Star Wars.
Yeah,
so
shit in space.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So let's get our Destiny rolls because we need to do that. Let me just set up our what do you call it? Dice pool here.
I'm gonna push the right button today. I believe in me.
All right, the pool has been cleared. All right, we got 2 light, 1 dark, 1 dark, and 1 dark. Wonderful.
I feel like I roll 1 dark a lot.
Yeah, I
rolled dark side. No.
One dark comes up more on the die, on the virtual die that it is. One and 1 are more likely. It's like 2 1 darks, 2 1 lights, 1 2 dark, 1 2 lights, basically. So you're more.
I meant to bring balance to the forest.
There is no balance.
The
real message is that there is no balance. And let's roll obligation.
Yeah, who's in trouble today?
By the way, I meant to say this to you earlier, Dave, but your background is fascinating.
Thank you.
Did you build that yourself or?
Nah,
it's Zangarmarsh from World of Warcraft. Yeah.
It's just kind of the same colors. So
yeah. I wasn't familiar with the reference. So I wasn't sure where it came from. Thank you for educating me.
So a 6 means it's Mabel's obligation that comes up today.
What could possibly go wrong there?
Yeah.
This is the second time we've hit Mabel.
So if we could, everybody just adjust your strain thresholds because it's -2 for Mabel and -1 for everybody else for their thresholds. You just gotta add 1 to it, and then remember you can't remove it until the end of the session, basically, or add 2.
Add 2 or subtract 2.
I mean, it is an increase. It is a subtraction from the threshold, but I don't think you can subtract from the threshold. So just increase the amount.
So yeah, I just added 2 to my current strain.
Okay.
And that's like the floor. The floor has been raised to 2.
The floor is 1 for everybody else and 2 for Mabel currently during this session. Because of course Mabel's obligation came up, and Andrew, could you remind us what Mabel's obligation is, just so that everybody?
Yeah. So my obligation is listed as the family obligation type, and it's to the various discarded droids from old Imperial operations on Vode.
Cool. Good. All right. Well, something may happen this session. It may not. This came up as a question during some Discord conversation, so I'll address it. Obligation in the book, the only thing the GM is obligated to do with it, must do with it in the session, is the thing I just did, which is increase the strain threshold or decrease the strain thresholds. The rest of it is, if it comes up during the session, you can let it influence what comes up during the session, but that it is not mandatory for you to do so. Some people seem to play by a rule that it is a mandatory thing, but it is not.
And also, Elf, I don't know if we've talked about this. I feel like we did, at least obliquely. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to include the possibility, if my old commanding officer were to come back or something like that, could be part of my obligation as well, do you reckon?
Yes. Things that would cause you stress or cause stress to your family, right?
Right.
Because your obligation is to keep these droids safe, right? So it's a little bit different than if your obligation is I want to pay off Jabba the Hutt, right? The consequences of that are Jabba the Hutt's going to send bounty hunters after you, or you're going to have difficulty engaging on this planet where there's wanted posters of you or whatever,
inside the Sarlacc
these kinds of things, right? It's sort of the consequences of you caring about a thing are what the obligation means, if you know what I mean. For Omni, the New Republic showing up with some officers to arrest them via the tracking device that was on the ship, for example, could be something that happens.
But yeah, we get to be a little bit open-ended with how we interpret these things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
It's definitely an open-ended sort of situation.
Lots of threads.
So,
to uphill down.
yeah, wonderfully, there's quite a lot for me to do. So, I believe we ended the session while you were still in camp with the Fog Wardens, or just about to leave. I wasn't sure exactly where we were headed. I cut it off a little early because I was feeling a little sick last time.
Yeah, I think the last thing we saw was Kryno on comms to
Zayla. Yeah.
what's her butt, right?
Yeah, I think so. But that was like a step off to the side conversation, Let me think about it
too.
I mean, we had Omni doing repairs for the Fog Warden, like brief repairs for the Fog Wardens. We had Mabel like helping with some injuries. We had Zyle learning some stuff from.
Did we? We didn't head out, did we?
No,
Not yet.
No, you're
Not
still
yet.
you're still in the camp.
Okay.
I think we ended in the camp. I remember there was a scene with Panakata and Zyle in the like garden that she had, and she talked about like the planet speaking to her and that kind of stuff, and like that all that force related mysticism, at least I think, and that's where we're at. You guys are in the camp. You have options as to like what you want to do here, or you can head back to like Vode City, or I don't know what the game plan is, but Krynos had a comm open to Zayla during the like venture to this location, and then like communicated with her briefly like off to the side. So like some things have been heard by authorities elsewhere via Krynos open comm, basically, is like what I would. None of you know that other than Kryno, obviously, but like that is something that I would mention.
Well, as fascinating as it is to hang around with mushroom type people, we got stuff to go and do in civilization. I think I fixed everything that's going to be fixed here, because there wasn't very much to be fixed here. Sorry, everybody. You just let stuff grow all over it.
One of the things I'll just like add that I remembered that may be relevant, is that Panakata mentioned the Star Destroyer, the Sunderer, as being important, or having something important to the planet like on it.
Oh yeah.
So that task may coincide with other tasks that you have lined up or what have you. But to keep your eye out, basically.
Oh.
How are we all doing on our rebreathers? Everybody feeling all right? I don't remember how much we ended up taking out with us, and I don't think we established it.
I think you have enough to hang around a bit and make it back.
Yeah, we invested.
You knew you might. Yeah, you knew you might be out here for some time, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were all feeling all right. But the deal now is to get back and
not tell anybody that we were here. I think.
Hey, what was that?
Oh, I just said smart.
No. Well then, off we go. Mabel, anything you want to take care of before we head out?
Yeah, Mabel like shakes her head. I think it's clear that like her medkit stuff, she's like collapsed some stuff down because she's used up a bunch of supplies, and like, yeah, she just kind of shrugs and says, "Done what I can with what I've got."
Do you want to take some samples of people?
Well, I don't think we're quite there yet.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't mean the whole people. I just meant whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, Mabel, you know that like a large amount of backup might be helpful here, and you know that where there is some. I don't know if you informed them of like that location, or if you care to.
Yeah, I don't think she's told them about it because she's not sure what getting at it would involve, or like what risks would be there, or
It's,
who might ultimately claim to it.
relatively close to Vode City as well, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. Okay, Cool. I just wanted to. I'm just trying to like refresher.
Yeah, no,
details.
that's definitely was on my mind in the little preamble here.
Then I think we head back. We decide what we're going to do next, and go from there.
Yeah,
That sound about right?
Do you have comm stuff? It's probably easier if we could call you than traipsing all the way out here anytime we need to get in contact.
Panakata sort of like the helmeted, white armored, red, patterned figure sort of shakes her head and says, "Comm channels can be tracked. Don't want open comms or even closed comms around here. But if you venture out into the jungle, I'm sure one of my people will make me aware."
All right. Oh, we'd also appreciate if you helped us if we ever got tried. We found a rancor. Heads up, there's a rancor around.
Yes, I've seen it. There are several, actually.
Don't put it like that.
Got out from the labs when they
Yes,
were
you were
overgrown and some kind of imperial experiment, I'm sure, based on the branding. But thing about rancors is they're smarter than they look, and they thrive in all kinds of environments. So difficult to get rid of when you're, predator of that size.
Yeah, and you got like pointy sticks.
I mean,
they're nice pointy sticks, but like it's not going through a rancor's hide.
She smiles and she levels the pointy stick, as you say, to her right and flicks a switch on it, and a gout of flame bursts from the end of it, clearing the fog cover in like a small area, and then she sort of like sets it back down and goes like, "Yeah, pointy sticks, definitely."
Right, I bet I could do that to those for you.
What was that, Dave? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
I know. I bet I could do one of those for you. So.
I mean, don't we already have a flamethrower? I thought we did.
It's too big.
Technically, yes. Oh, true. Smaller.
Take it, and I could. If I got access to a workshop it on the way home.
Yeah.
Omni just drawing up plans on a data pad while they're walking along in the jungle. Love it.
Well, thank you so much for your hospitality and for showing us around a bit.
She nods and like she's not standing on ceremony with you or anything. It's like go if you want to go kind of thing. It's that way.
I think we are gonna head out and have a great rest of your day and
good luck.
See you soon. Okay, let's go.
Takada's gonna stay behind for a little bit, so he's not coming back with you. Because he's talking with the wardens. He's like in some meeting right now off to the side with like 3 of them. Discussing something. Can't hear it over the like murmur of the camp. But
Yep, I think we make our way back.
okay. Survival check.
Alrighty.
Lovely.
I would love to boost.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
have the boost set up.
All right, here we go. Hacha.
Roll away. Okay. No successes, but an advantage. Reminder that one advantage can be used to clear strain if you happen to have any that isn't like the stuff you just gained. Let's see here. I have a table. Let's roll on my table.
Blimp shocks.
I mean, it could be.
Really big blimp shock.
Actually, while you're making your way back through the jungle, the sounds are like fairly familiar to you at this point. You know, the sound of like the little slime slipper frogs croaking and the you know, the sound of like a blimp shark chewing on something in the distance, or like the calls of various like weird shrike-like birds, that kind of thing. You hear the sound of an engine. It sounds like a repulsor engine, or maybe like 3 or 4 of them, you know, like in a group heading in your direction. Like it's getting louder, and you can hear like the sound of like cracking, you know, plants and like destructible, you know, things that you could run a vehicle through, like moving out of the way of such a vehicle, headed in your direction. It does sound like 3 or 4 like repulsor lift vehicles.
Styles' instinct is to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to roll stealth, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah,
Their
we all
bullet
kind of
needs to
rolling
be-
separately.
Look at Mabel. Is Mabel thinking about trying to hide?
Mabel is, you can tell just looking at her that she's going to do a bad job of it if she even thinks to do it.
Can I just roll? Is there a pull that needs to be set up?
Hang on. Yeah, and things like this, stealth and things like that, are unique to each person, Dave. So yeah, everybody has to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mabel like looks around and just says, "Are those land speeders out here?"
Yeah, and I mean, you'd recognize the sound. It sounds like speeder bikes, like
Yeah.
like some kind of like repulsor bikes in a group. A failure on the stealth roll. For Xyle.
Need to get better at stealth too.
And you said the pool is set up, Elf?
It is set up. Yep, hit it up.
Okay.
No success. No successes
No success
for
to
Crino
advantage.
either. Yeah.
Man, that's a rarity right there.
Yeah.
Anybody else rolling anything?
So interesting.
I don't think it occurs to
Mabel
Mabel
just
that she
stands
should
there.
hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of like looking around awkwardly as like her friends are like scattering. She's like, "Wait, where are you going?"
I'm trying to hide. I'm doing a really bad job of it because I just told you I'm trying to hide.
Dave, do you want to roll anything?
I'm trying to think. I don't really have. Specifically, I don't have anything in gear, but like my plan would be to make a light so that they know there's something there and they don't just crash into us. Right?
They're approaching at a velocity that making something would be.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
perhaps-
make something. Or just like a glow stick.
I mean,
or-
if you have oh yeah, you could use a glow rod.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
just
have a
grab
bunch
the
of
glow rod
those.
and
We
just
have a bunch of
wave
glow
it.
rods. Yeah, no, they're actually like flashlights. I looked
Oh.
it up. They're not glow sticks, but they're like holdable light sources. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I try and.
Okay, so
wave
you're gonna
it.
try and like signal.
Yeah, like
Cool.
don't drive into us.
So while you're standing, it takes like maybe like 10 seconds maximum for these things to come into view. They are loud and they are clearly like the Harley Davidsons of swoop bikes, you know, like the like very like low riding, high handlebar sort of bikes. And on each of them, there are 4 bikes, and on each of them is a figure that looks like a heavily armored, like in this like sort of metal plated armor with these like red goggles that like glow this red color. Gamorrean. So there's a bunch of like pigmen on bikes. And
Hogs on hogs.
yeah, hogs on
Love it.
hogs. And they slide past you, like they're accelerating too fast. They see the signal, but they're going so fast that they sort of go past you and then like circle back a little bit around. And 3 of them stay on their bikes, and one of them sort of like hops off to like amble over towards you. He's got what looks like a vibro axe, or like a like a big melee weapon, very wacky looking melee weapon, like axe bladed, hanging off his belt. And he walks with the confidence and swagger of a a man who seeks out danger and is too much of an idiot to avoid it, and so he approaches, and when he speaks, you can hear the like porcine squealing of the Gamorrean language. It is like a very pig-like oinking, snorting, squealing sort of a language. But there's like a translator or like something that he's wearing like on his throat that like communicates it in like Universal Basic. And he's like, I didn't think we'd run into anyone this far out. And he like laughs, and there's like a like a squeaking sort of belly laugh as he goes. And he's like, "What are you doing out here?"
Just having a jump. That's all. There's a lot to explore out here.
I'm a wildlife photographer.
Right. Well, sounds good. The tourism business, but there's a fee. Coming through here. There's a fine. You gotta pay for just being in this area.
You think so?
Yeah. 500 credits.
And who exactly is enforcing this?
I've been deputized to take on the responsibility, and his gang.
By whom exactly?
His gang is like in the background making a bunch of like weird, squealing, laughing, snorting noises.
No, not like that.
Good try,
who exactly?
I'm sorry.
And whose authority exactly do you fall under?
Whose authority do you think we fall under around here? Who else is there?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to be a bit more specific than that.
Are you
We're
the
not
fog
just-
wardens? We heard about you. You're so cool.
We get confused a little bit, but nah. Red Fog Raiders here. And he pats his chest where there's like a badge or something that he's got on.
And what do we know about the
a red pig's head? You know what I mean?
Have we ever heard of this group before?
You're welcome to roll lore. It's gonna be an easy roll because they've been mentioned before.
Oh yeah, like really
I will-
early.
I will do that whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead. No successes. So you haven't met their people before. You have heard some basic things. The Red Fog Raiders are a group of Gamorreans, who have taken up just being a general nuisance on Vode as their profession. And by a nuisance, I mean a violent nuisance that steals from people and doesn't give a shit.
So they're like highwaymen.
They're like highwaymen or like a mercenary company with a bad reputation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that sort of thing.
I have to.
If anybody else wants to roll lore, you're welcome to try. It's only a 1 purple if you want to know a little more.
Yeah, I want to try.
Okay.
Do it. I'm gonna go. There we go.
There we go.
Successes.
So, actually, Chrono, you know a little bit more about them. Because I'm going to flash back to a conversation that you had in the bar, like maybe a couple weeks ago or something, with a protocol droid who wore their colors, and who was named Squeaker. You met him. His name's Squeaker, and he speaks perfect Gamorrean, but he's a protocol droid that is in this like red rust color, and he has a blaster on his hip, like very like weirdly equipped protocol droid. It's like C-3PO with a gun and a cape. You know what I mean? And you'd heard him looking for work for his like group, and speaking with some Utico associates like in the bar, in Madame Harani's like some weeks ago. It's clear that they don't have a great social reputation, and that Squeaker is kind of their voice man, their front man for like negotiating with people, because the level of tact you're getting from this Gamorrean is about the level of tact that they're known for.
That makes sense.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had a conversation with Squeaker. If you want to have that conversation, we can. but at the very least, you know that he exists.
Okay. I'll kind of like look over my shoulder and just pass that information along to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to forgive me if I don't feel inclined to hand my credits over to some thugs.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but also there's like 4 of them and they all have weapons, and we have 1 person with the weapons.
I have a weapon. I'm
Yeah.
perfectly capable of using my weapon.
Yeah, you sure do.
Listen,
The one who's off his bike, you know, looks over at Uzile and goes, "Yeah, a lot of people are disinclined," and he like reaches for the axe on his belt and like holds it up and says, "The penalty you don't pay, though."
What's the angle here?
I mean, there are lots of skills you could use to engage with this. There are many social skills.
Yeah, I'm just really bad at all of them.
There are, you know, you could start shooting. You know, I'm offering you some.
No, you are good. I am trying to decide what angle I want to do this from. Listen.
I have Streetwise, which is about engaging in illegal business transactions.
Okay,
and this kind of
right,
thing.
okay.
I'd like to boost Mabel in this endeavor since I also have Streetwise. So
That's good.
And I think what Mabel is going to try to offer here is that like she knows someone and is like associated with some people that would incline these guys to like back off a little bit. She's going to like drop the right names.
Okay, you're gonna go for the like, you know? I know the bigger, badder criminals that you guys.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, oh yes, the Crimson, or whatever, Red Raider people. Yeah, no, I heard about them from my friend so and so, who's very important and scary.
Invent for me a friend so and so.
Okay, let's get Star Wars.
I don't have a friend so and so, but you're welcome to invent them. Even if you give me like general concept, like, are they a hut? Are you calling on like?
Well, their name is Baz.
Baz, okay.
Yeah. And they're like one of the they're human, but they look weird, kind of humans. You know,
okay,
where they have
it's one of those slightly different humans. Yeah.
Human with like bright pink skin and like weird transparent hair or something.
They are a Zeltron. Pink skin is a Zeltron trait, which are
cool.
They have like pheromone effects on people.
Neat.
Yeah, so Baz the Zeltron, who's like, I think they probably run like crime stuff within the city itself.
Oh, okay, so
but they're like a fence and general kind of useful person.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
And so I think Mabel's just like, well, I was gonna take these supplies back to my good friend Baz in the like such and such district of the city, and he entrusted me with this task, and he told me that you all had an arrangement and that was okay. So I'm a little bit shocked, honestly, to find now that we have to pay a fine. I thought we were all. Through him, I thought we had an agreement established.
The Gamorrean with the translator like snorts a little bit, like surprised that you bring this up, like, and roll your streetwise.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull this off.
I got my boost die.
Oh! Damn it! So he steps up to you, Mabel, like he's turned his attention away from Zyle towards Mabel. He steps up towards you and he goes like, "We don't really like Baz," like just.
Oh, he does.
You see, he's a bit of a frictive character, I suppose. Very rude at times, and like Mabel's just kind of like stalling and like bluffing this guy still, just to try to keep things going.
There's the sound of like I'm trying to think like what the sound would be of like repulsors that aren't really working very well. You know what I mean? Like on the
the bikes like occasionally like dip and have to like rev to re-stabilize.
And it's clear the weight capacity is like a little overloaded on all of them because the Gamorreans are like big boys. You know what I mean?
Big, heavily armored.
Yeah. What was their name again? Red Raiders?
The Red Fog Raiders is the faction.
Red Fog Raiders. Mr. Is it Mr. red fog. I'm sure we could come to some sort of arrangement. My colleague is criminal predilections aside. I can see that perhaps more useful than you to credits might be. I see your bike's a little bit. Maybe it's giving you some trouble. I'm a professional mechanic.
He squeals a sort of affronted noise, and he's like, "You think you can repair our bikes? You think you can make our bikes better than we can make our bikes?" In the way that people who are very possessive over their bikes tend to get.
Please
mean, I could make everything better, except if it's all made of mushrooms or dirt. I've been around a lot of mushrooms and dirt recently.
He looks thoughtful, and it's when I say looks thoughtful, I mean his eyes glaze over for a moment where it's clear there's very little happening inside of his brain. And he goes, "Well, I got one problem. If you can fix it, maybe I can let you go with a warning." Yeah.
Please, I would be honored to work on a bike so prestigious as to be part of the inventory.
He reaches around your shoulder and gives you this big intimidating sort of lead you towards the bike embrace, and he says,
I'll give a thumbs up backwards to everyone.
Kyle is just sort of
and he's
I'm gonna give you the most awkward thumbs up you've ever seen.
And the Gamarine continues. He goes "You're damn right. You're honored to work on it." And you get closer to the bike, and it's clear it's a heavily modified swoop bike. Swoops are a very common sort of archetype of repulsor vehicle, hover vehicle. They're the sort of non-militarized versions of the speeder bikes. They don't have guns on them or anything, but they're heavily customizable, very modular kind of things. If you know what you're
sweet spoiler on it.
If you know what you're doing. Yeah, he's got decals on it, some flames, some versions of their, what do you call it, red pig-headed symbol. And he says, "It's riding a little low on the left. Think one of the repulsors they long for this world. And it's hard to get new ones around here."
Immediately look at it, and it's leaning slightly to the right instead. I'm yeah, okay, great.
Yeah. He's clearly overcompensating while riding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he just steps back and goes "Go on then, work your magic."
Roll up my sleeves, or try and roll up my sleeves, and then get a wrench kind of stuck, and it magnetizes to itself. Yeah, I would love to have a little look over this bike.
Yeah, feel free.
This is how you play role-playing games. You have one good skill, and you
try and apply it to everything. Try and apply it to everything. Yeah.
Use mechanics on everything. You good?
Yep. Oh wait. It's okay.
Never mind. I fixed it.
Yeah. No, you did fine. Dice roll. The boost was irrelevant anyway. Wow,
that's 2 successes, a triumph, and 2 advantage.
In this situation, a triumph. Let me take a look at my sheet here because I'm not entirely sure what you get out of it.
He just gives me the bike as a present.
No, that doesn't happen.
Wow.
So triumph stuff, it counts as a success, but also you can grant an upgrade to an allied character's next check, including the current active character. So you could let it roll forward on anyone you want to be an upgrade. But you could also choose to do something vital. You know what I mean? It's part of the mandate of the triumph. But you've already succeeded, so your vital thing is you managed to you managed to repair the bike, but is there anything else you want out of these guys? You know what I mean? Like, kind of thing. Like, within reason. It would be easy to be like, you do it so well that he gives you some kind of, invite to something, or, like that kind of stuff. But it's on you to sort of come up with that. It's not.
Absolutely. So, it occurs to me that Zaya was wanting a speeder bike of some kind. So I kind of ask about, like, if they have a dealer, or like, do they know someone who could get one for us cheap? Because I've always wanted one.
You're kind of looking for a merchant hookup, basically.
Yeah, he might be able to get us a discount or whatever.
Okay, I like it. Yeah. He snorts and sort of like looks at your work, like leans down. He's like very round, like very wide guy. So like him leaning down to like look at the underside of the bike is like an endeavor. But eventually he like climbs back on it and like tests it out a little bit, and the repulsor's working the way he expects. And you do the whole like schmoozing, like, yeah, we really want to find one or whatever. And he from his bike, he's like, yeah, no, we could hook you up with this one of the new incomings. Squeaker gets imports from off planet. They're easy to get in bulk because nobody wants a basic swoop. Then we do all the work ourselves, and it really works out. So
you did a great job. I mean, all I had to do was bring it back to the greatness that the love and care that you showed it before.
He like nods, like, yeah, of course. Like, it's not my fault. It's broken, and says, I'll put in a good word for you. Talk to Squeaker in Void City, usually in Marmarani's.
Yeah, who should I say sent me?
You can tell him Dawes sent you.
Dawes. Oh, so you're Dawes. Wow. Can't believe we ran into you here.
You heard of me, have you? You been to the swoop? You been to the swoop races on Malachor 5?
Oh yeah, I used to hear stories of how they're some of the most dangerous. And then I just try an adjective and I'll wait and see how he responds.
Yeah, he looks. He's like, some of the most dangerous. He's like, yeah, some of the most
exciting, cutthroat races. I used to watch highlights of them back on my ship. I got a collection.
He goes like, yeah, well, Vode's new place for up and coming, the racing, and that swine, what's his name, Mongum, been putting on some local tractions, and I'm hoping to win myself some more prize money.
Oh yeah, I'd like with a bike like that, it's a shoo-in.
He like pats the side of it, he's like, you bet. Anyway, talk to Squeaker. You want a bike? You gonna compete against me?
Oh, I wouldn't.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
All right. Well, I'll see you around. Have fun driving through the forest.
And he like kickstands the swoop bike and gets the hell out of there. Basically, they like rocket off as a gang, like whooping and squealing their way through the jungle, like just having a great old ride, and leave you be.
I thought one of my hearts was going to stop beating there.
It was actually really well done on me. Good on you.
Yeah, I'm genuinely impressed.
Oh, his bike's such a piece of trash. Oh, it was so easy. But him himself, I mean, not much of a talker, but maybe I am.
Did I hear right there that you've arranged just to maybe get our hands on a bike?
What can I say? I know what I'm talking about when it comes to machines, but just not people, so I just focused on that.
I'm going to be a racer. Very exciting.
I mean, that's up to you. I mean, like, it was easy to take advantage of him. I don't know. I feel bad.
No,
I mean, you
great.
got us out of there without us having to give him a bunch of our money and possibly getting killed or getting into a fight of some kind. And I think that is probably the best outcome for all of us.
Oh yeah, I was gonna break their hands.
That would have been something.
I mean, it would have been
something.
It would have been another way to get a speeder bike. You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking it the whole time. I was like, if the others leave, we could probably just move them.
If I was just waiting for it to go wrong. But
Yeah, if it goes wrong, it didn't. And
Never
yeah,
goes wrong.
all right.
which
well,
means
survival check encounter dealt with. You're able to head back to Vode City. You travel through the jungle. You eventually make it back to the sort of like more cultivated, you know, like paths and walking areas of the jungle nearby to Vode City, and you make your way back to the entrance itself. There's a lot more security around when you arrive, like a bunch of Uticos uniformed like thugs, I guess you'd call them. Like they're like peace officers, quote unquote, but it's like, you know, they've got a stun baton and a blaster kind of thing, and there are like 4 or 5 of them standing outside the entrance with their like rebreathers on, though you know that a lot of the Vodian natives or like the Utico employees don't even really need the rebreathers, as it's like they've already got feng lung or what have you. And they sort of like scrutinize you as you approach, and step forward. One of them steps forward to address you as you enter and goes like, "What was your business out in the jungle?" Like looks between the group as if looking for like who's gonna speak to him. He's this human guy. He's got like a short cut hair. You're probably like 6 feet tall. You know, like imposing fellow, but like he's just talking with the authority of someone who expects you to answer.
I can't hear you.
I walk forward with my hand on my pistol holstered, step in front of the group. I'm here guiding a group of historians. They have been looking into ruins across the planet. I'm working as their bodyguard. This, and I point to Omni, seems to be the one most involved in how they're engineered. This, their mentee, and I point to Zyle. And we've brought along with us a medical droid just for safety precautions.
And he sort of like considers all that, and he looks at you and he says like, "They have any papers? Any identification?"
Well, we did, but we came across a group with Gamorreans that thankfully we got away from.
Do you want to
something?
You're gonna need to give me a check here of
That's
some
fine.
kind, like whatever
Deception,
social, like a charm or like a deception or something like that.
I forgot he was bad at both of those.
I don't think any of us like have more than 2 dicing skills.
I have 2 ranks in deception,
Oh shit!
and a rank in charm, and a rank in negotiation.
Why am I talking?
Well, if Kryno fails, I'm sure Mabel can come up with a more.
So yeah,
a more
I'll
convincing-
cover for you.
All right, let's see. Tell me when, Elf.
You're good to go.
No problem. See,
Yeah.
With 2 threats, and it's clear. Like when you mention the Gamorreans, it's clear he's had like a run-in or something of his own. You can see on his face his expression like changes a little. And he goes like, "Ugh, those ingrates." roaming around in the jungle like they own the place. You know, he says ironically.
So if you do see someone with papers that sounds like this group, be a little cautious of them. We lost them to the Gamorreans.
1 sec. I just need to look at the threat situation because there are threats to resolve.
Dope.
Yeah,
I'm used to playing people that are charming and clever, and I'm like, oh wait, this could go badly.
This guy isn't.
Oh wait. He sort of
talks with gun.
He waves you in, with like no further hesitation. He's like, yeah, we see your papers. We'll let you know, and waves you past, into the the disinfectant spray one at a time. But yeah, it's like an odd amount of security. Usually they don't bother to like interrogate people out here or like even question like why they would be coming and going. So it's like,
I think that Zyle does kind of under their breath as they're walking through the process of decontamination is like, why are there so many of them out there? Just kind of to themselves.
Yeah, there's a couple more in the hallway inside. You know what I mean, like guarding the door. It's clear like they're just like they've been assigned here. Maybe they don't even know. There's a little bit of conversation that's like most boring post ever kind of stuff as you pass by. You all make your way in.
Jawas tried to sell me something like 5 times.
Yeah. You make your way in through the disinfectant into the entrance to Road City. And you are back home, quote unquote.
The closest thing we have for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Light was odd. I don't understand why there's so many of them out there. I don't suppose we could maybe ask Madame Haroni. She always seems to have her ear to the ground.
That's a good
Maybe
idea.
that would be wise. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can get something to eat and decide what we're going to do next. I'm hungry.
All right. So making your way to Madame Harani's, I assume. It's not a long walk. You head down the corridors lined with curtains. There are always visible somebody cleaning something, usually a droid of Imperial make. Though actually, like a lot of them have not been in those posts, Mabel. There's a surprising number of like, it's just a human janitor, or like a Rhodian janitor, like doing things. When usually it's like a mouse droid equipped with a scrubbing brush or a protocol droid from the Imperial make, like doing some sweeping or something.
So basically, there are some familiar faces that I would expect to see that I have not seen.
Yeah. As a person who's like keyed in with like how these droids are assigned and like what they do and who they are, there are familiar faces missing. Certainly. As you make your way.
Well, yeah, Mabel definitely is like unsettled by all this, but yeah, talking to Madame Harani seems like a good start.
Okay, so
She tends to know what's up.
So you head over to Madame Harani's place, and grab yourselves a table. And it's not long before Madame Harani, her blue Twi'lek, well presented, smiling self appears with a round of drinks for those who imbibe, and sort of leans against your table just a little with like one hand. Says, so the 4 of you have been keeping busy then?
Attempting to, but we're a little bit concerned. We didn't exactly expect to see so many guards when we came back. Do you know what's up?
Well, something has got the Utico higher-ups a little riled. Something that they consider that might be dangerous, or I'm not really sure. I don't have the details. They don't exactly tune me in on the comm channels, but there's a lot of chatter about the Fog Wardens or the jungle activity of late in general. They seem to be gearing up for some kind of large expedition. A lot of equipment moving around, a lot of, secret seeming activity.
Doesn't sound exactly pleasant.
Well, I mean, as much as they try to keep up their appearances as a legitimate company, we all know that they're up to things more than just trying to make a profit. I mean, they practically govern this planet. So, who knows what they're up to? Whatever it is, it can't be good. But it's large scale. A lot of movement, a lot of regulars displaced.
It might be that Rancor. There's a Rancor out there. It's probably just that.
Oh,
April, apparently.
I have heard about the Rancor, but I doubt they'd need as much drilling equipment, cutting equipment, as they seem to be breaking out.
Oh.
Yeah, Xyle's eyes get real freaking big, and they kind of glance over at Omni.
Really? Look at the drill. It's like grass and mushrooms and stuff.
There's also other things out there that need to be
I
cut
wouldn't
into.
know anything about anything like that. It's all just fungal jungle as far as I'm aware.
She looks between you like, that was super obvious, guys. Come on, I'm a professional.
I tried.
Like,
but I mean...
she, there's that brief look of like, I am a professional listener of things. You know what I mean? Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And Xyle, it never even occurs to them to act as though Madame Maroney doesn't know everything. Like, this does not occur to them.
She looks over at you, Xyle, and says, so you've heard of something out there that might be the cause of all this movement?
I'm not entirely sure I can say one way or the other. I don't want to get you into any trouble.
Oh, I'm never in any trouble.
There's a lot of things this could be, to be honest.
That's also true as well. I can't say I know for sure one way or the other, even though I have ideas.
There are plenty of things under the surface of the planet or deep in the jungles of the planet. And I guess it just depends on which direction they're going, forward or down.
Maybe they're going to make
I
Vote
suppose
2.
it does.
Vote City 2.
I mean, they are always digging new tunnels, but I don't really think it's an expansion project. Who's to say? I don't know. A lot of movement, suffice it. And she sort of like looks to you as if she's, the whole like anything else kind of server look.
Yeah, Mabel will speak up. Just say, well, what about the droids? I haven't seen. There were some I expected to see at the gates, and they weren't there.
Oh, yes. You'll probably be happy to hear this. Actually, new assignments. For some of the more capable among them. Utico has been a little more proactive in their recruitment process for new enforcers or otherwise affiliated employees. They've expanded their search to the heretofore relegated droid contingent.
Yeah, and Mabel doesn't like say anything in reply to this. She just gets up and leaves.
Okay.
Yeah, leave after Mabel. I was like, well, this sounds
Harani,
bad.
Madame Harani.
That was a
has,
lot
like,
of words.
A bit of a like, surprised response, as you go, but looks to the other two who are still there.
Mabel's pretty protective of her family.
Of course.
From what I'm learning.
Aren't we all? If you need anything, I'll be nearby. And she sort of like, goes to deal with other customers. You guys can see, those of you who are still in the bar, by the way, that Squeaker is here. The protocol droid that is like associated with the Red Fog Raiders is present. The like rust-colored, cape-wearing protocol droid. He's in a conversation with like some Rhodian individual at the moment off to the side that ends briefly after you kind of look over and notice it. The Rhodian sort of wanders away.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go, please.
Lyle kind of turns to Kryno and kind of waggles their eyebrows at him, just like, you want to go?
Yeah, sure, whatever. I'll walk up.
Okay, the two of you are gonna go over and see Squeaker.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks up to you as you approach. He was like organizing some credit chip, selection or something, and he tucks it away and looks up to you. As you approach, he's in sort of like a booth, like he's got like a little business, setup going on. And he says over to you as you like appear to want to talk to him. Greetings, friends. What is it that I can do for you?
Why are we here, Zyle?
Getting to that. I've heard that you could possibly do a bit of helping us locate a price-conscious speeder from a certain mutual acquaintance by the name of Dawes.
Oh, you want me to help you steal a speeder?
That's not what. No.
The protocol droid takes a moment to process. You can literally hear the gears in his head like spinning almost. There's like a sort of a hard drive noise. And he states, my particular business does indeed relate to the acquiring and moving of such a thing. You say you have spoken to Dawes?
We have, and he mentioned that you were the right person to talk to.
I conduct all official business for the assorted members of our motley crew.
Do you think you could help us?
Perhaps. What kind of speeder are you looking to acquire?
Well, there's this race that's coming up I'm sure you've heard about, and we don't need anything that's like super high-end. We have an amazing mechanic who can do a lot of work on it. But we do need something that's functional and viable as a racer.
You intend to enter the race?
I'd like to, yeah.
Wonderful. There are several varieties of vehicle that are acceptable for such a race. Bikes, of course, are the premier choice for those who participate individually, but some have been known to use speeder vehicles, hover cars, such things, also acceptable. Do you have a preference?
Well, it would probably be good to have something that could be later used in other cases and hold more than one people at a time. That seems like the most, practical choice.
A land speeder of some sort would probably suit your preferences. Then, I could see my way to importing a certain design, but these things are not entirely free of charge, obviously.
Of course. I wouldn't dream of expecting you to just give me a land speeder.
I can provide you with a basic stock model, 4 seats, closed cabin, for 3,000 credits.
3,000, yeah. And if there were to be like some sort of like favor that we could do in exchange for like a discount, would there be anything in the way of that we could possibly arrange?
You already did it, right?
His voice gets a little lower, though his tone doesn't change. It's just like somebody moved a volume slider.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, there are certain things you could do to acquire this vehicle much more cheaply, even than the discount that Dawes being involved provides.
Is it theft?
No. The answer is quite simple, in fact. You throw the race to the Red Fog Raiders.
No. I see.
I can knock an entire 1,000 credits off the price if you promise not to win.
When do you need to have an answer by? Is this something I'm allowed to consider?
There is a robotic shrug, and he says, sooner is better.
Well, fair enough.
I have to
I
get
will,
the speeder, after all.
of course. Let me consult with the rest of my team, and then I will get back to you post-haste.
By all means. I am found here most often during the daylight working hours.
Of course. It's very nice to meet you, Squeaker.
A pleasure.
Hey, if you throw the race, it just makes you an underdog.
What if I want to win?
Then win next time when it's worth even more money.
What if we're not here for the next time?
Do you plan on dying that quickly?
I mean, no, but you never know what's going to happen in this life. Things take sharp left turns all the time.
I assume you're walking away from Squeaker.
Yeah.
Just want to check.
Well, that's why you get good at making sharp left turns on your speeder bike. So you win the second one and take all their money. Hey, it's your choice.
Well, I mean,
free speeder bike.
this is the thing. I don't have the coinage on my own. I'd have to earn a little bit more, which means we still have a few jobs that we need to complete that could possibly pay out enough for me to even be able to afford a land speeder. So even with the discount, it's a lot.
How much was it with the discount?
2,000 credits.
2,000.
Okay.
I don't have that much.
If you're willing to throw the race, he said he'd knock 1,000 off, and he called 3,000 beforehand.
Okay.
So.
That's incredibly reasonable.
It is a
it's definitely a very reasonable price. I just don't have it right now.
It's like a 50% cost land speeder, basically.
Yeah. You got a passenger land speeder marked up at 3,500 credits.
The exact type that I am talking about, just so you're all aware of like the kind of vehicle, is actually from Force and Destiny. And it is a. Let me find it for you. These are not the right. These are spaceships. That's not what I want.
That's what I want.
But yeah, I figured I'd try and get us something that we could use for more than just a race.
Yeah, a passenger land speeder from Force and Destiny, which is a 4 capacity, encumbrance 10, 4 hard points land speeder, basically.
It's not too slow either. It's
no,
like
it's
2
not.
speed.
It's quite good.
Oh wow.
It's faster than like a 2-person
So
speeder
the thing
for
about
some
the
reason.
great thing about passenger land speeder in general is this is a bit of an aside, is that it's basically like saying car. You know what I mean? Like it means a lot of different shit depending on how you like hard point it, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely like super interested, and would even like as a player be like, sure, yeah, I'm good to throw a race if I can save 1,000 credits on it. But I don't even have 2,000, so this just becomes a plot point that we worry about as we earn.
Do you all have a collective fund put together? I remember from Haverford.
Do we? Wow.
Yeah, we have 4,000 Imperial credits in the bank.
Oh, right.
If we want to tap into that.
I want
everyone's money, and it's something we have to talk about all together. So
I wanna cut over to Mabel and Omni, but I'm gonna take our break first, and then we will come back to what Mabel and Omni are up to while this conversation is going on. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere, my friends, and we'll play some more Star Wars. Yeah! Welcome back, dear friends, to the second half of episode 8 of Desperate Gamble. We're missing a Dave. Just briefly, they've taken care of some stuff, and they'll be back in a little bit. So we'll just push ahead without them for now, and they will return. So, Mabel, what's the move? I can have Omni catch up with you, but like, where are you headed? Because you just like got up and left. What's the?
Yeah. So, Madame Harani says, "Oh yeah, they've recruited the robots for the security services," which just seems awful to Mabel generally, and so she just is like, okay, I have to go deal with this now.
Yeah, fair enough.
So she's just gonna like go try to find them, these droids who have been conscripted, and try to like figure out what's going on and make sure that they're okay.
I think it isn't very long before you like come across a familiar sight in one of the hallways, and it's RST3 like standing in a guard position, you know what I mean? As you're like headed towards the elevator, I guess he's probably like near it, you know? Or sorry, the turbo lift is the official term. And he's sort of standing near it in like a guard position, and he has a weapon in his hands, some sort of like blaster carbine. and he's standing kind of motionless but clearly active, like eyes alight in that like red color. The Imperial like decals on him have been like kind of scraped. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
yeah.
like pulled off almost. But it requires that you like actually scrape the metal, you know, to really get any effect on it. But yeah, so he seems to be like taking up a guard position, like he's been assigned here.
Yeah, and so Mabel will just like walk up and like stand in front of him and say hello, I guess. Just,
Yeah,
oh,
I mean he
hello.
he like nods. He's like, greetings, you know, like.
So I can see why you might be inclined to take on this kind of work, but I'm a little worried about some of the others who would be now joining you in this profession. I was hoping you could tell me what you know.
He sort of like hesitates a moment and then says, "Security, a step up in purpose from languishing, certainly."
Yeah, and she like nods. I can appreciate that.
Some, admittedly, not as suited as myself, but many droids made with the capacity of holding a blaster or a shield or some other implement.
Yes, my concern isn't so much to do with suitability as to do with well, I just worry that they were coerced into it or that they were given no other option. And that's something I think frankly I can't abide.
I think there's a sort of like a brief thought process where it's clear he hadn't like considered that there wasn't an option, because this is like his chosen career, quote unquote. Like he is designed to do this, and he says, one usually does what the authorities dictate must be done.
Yes, well, here we can operate a little differently. We have a little more agency than we were afforded before, and well, we're not used to it. I know it's very difficult for a lot of us. Maybe for you as well, in ways that you might not consider. And she's not like pushing him on this. It's not like
I think he replies with like, I am functional. You know, like there isn't like a feeling to it so much as like I am like running a diagnostic, I am running fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so she doesn't like push him on this topic or anything, but just says, I was just hoping to find the others and speak with them and make sure.
Many are being equipped, fitted. Head down to the Utico office levels. Find them there.
Well, thank you. And she like nods and goes into the turbo lift and.
Yep, just like step past them into the turbo lift.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, Ami, you're there. Yeah.
Yeah, I catch you in the turbo. Oh, you're so fast when you do that. Walk and I'm like half the height of you.
Yeah.
I think I'm like
Mabel has like
something.
long legs. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. But I'll catch up with you now. Yeah.
And so she just says, well, I'm worried. And this is like as we're going down in the lift. I always hope that my fellows can grow beyond what they're assigned. But Utico and other groups here just obviously don't share that ambition. So it's an uphill struggle.
But it's easier, when they're made to be exploited that way. It's hard to tell them otherwise, right?
Yes, and so on behalf of those who were built unable to speak, and she kind of lets that sit as like how messed up that is, it's important that I be there to speak on their behalfs. And I think like the lift arrives.
The lift slows, and you end up at the level that is like like a Unico equipment level. This is like an official Unico like company building, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it's clear that there's been some like coming and going of Imperial droids of various types. You see one or two of them in the hallways. But you make your way, I think, past all that to like the main sort of like armory almost. It looks like an equipment room, There are some benches, and there's this there are a couple of like Utico's security personnel, like armed guards basically, because this is a room where you could grab a blaster rifle and start shooting.
Yeah, makes sense.
And there's a mousy looking fellow who's like maybe like 5'3". He's human, and he has like this pair of very like fancy looking like optical goggles on his head, for like magnification and so forth. And he's sort of like addressing several disparate droids like in front of him. There's maybe like three different like models of various, like there's a protocol droid, and then there's like a droid who's programmed for like waste management, and like another droid who's like a proper security droid of some kind, but of like a lesser stature than RST3 is, because the RS series are like big boys,
huge.
Yeah. They're for the really secure areas, kind of thing.
That's what RS stands for. Really secure.
Really secure.
Really secure. But so this little mousy guy is kind of like addressing the group and saying like, well, you'll get all the equipment that you require. Everything will be provided for you. There's nothing that you need to worry about personally. Just make sure that you're available and following the directions of your superiors. You'll be assigned a squad leader, and they'll see to your day-to-day behavior, kind of thing, like kind of talking to them about like what the new plan is.
I assume I've had dealings with this guy before.
Yeah, he's a Utico technician. You know what I mean? They don't do a lot of experimenting. Utico as a company is like very, we take designs from other places. We don't design our own things, kind of thing. But he's sort of been, I would say he was like nominally helpful during the initial abandonment of the like Imperial droids, but he's clearly always been the kind of guy who was like, we could use them better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't see them as people. He sees them as like a discarded tool that can be repurposed.
Stuff lying around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And his approach has always been to like approach like that. And yes, his name is Zemo.
Zemo.
Yeah.
And so Mabel like walks up. I think I'm like approach him from behind. Just by some quirk of how the room's laid out or whatever. And so she just like waits there silently while he's talking.
Mm-hmm. And then he turns around and sees you like standing there. He's like, oh, MA487. Lovely to see you. Are you here to, join the reassignment?
Why would I do that?
Well, maybe you're bored, and maybe you've found some purpose here. He kind of like, he's talking to you as if like he's indulging your desire, like your personality is an
amusing glitch.
Well, it's like a flaw in your programming, you know what I mean? Like, rather than something to be taken seriously.
She kind of like scoffs at him a bit and just, yes, well, I already have things to do, thank you, and employment.
It's a shame. I know a great many teams who could benefit from your medical expertise.
Yes, well, they would have to compensate me accordingly. And her eyes kind of like narrow at him a bit. Speaking of which, and she indicates all of these droids who are being conscripted. I do hope that each of these fine individuals are being compensated duly for their labor.
Oh, well, as you know, that's not up to me. I'm just here to make sure everybody has the equipment they need, all the repairs are done as necessary with whatever we can find, and anybody working for Utico is taken care of appropriately. The call has come from on high that all available hands be employed judiciously for the next few months, as I believe there is an uptick in our activity.
Yes, well, be that as it may, these are not Utico droids. These are free individuals, yes? And she, like, pokes him in the sternum.
She's like, don't, like slaps your hand away. And says, well, I mean, certainly, but we all find new purpose, and he sort of waves his hand to the droids getting equipped with various blasters and, Utico, like spray paint, like decal.
Yeah, getting the logo stenciled on them.
Exactly.
Yes, and I don't see you holding a blaster by some coincidence, I'm sure.
Oh, I'll be plenty busy when things start. And it's clear he wants to tell you what's going on, to like get one up on you, but that he's kind of not allowed. So he like fizzles out a little bit on the details, and he says like, I do what I'm told to do. And what I was told to do is gather as many hands as I could. All the way from the top. Jander sent out a memo.
Yes, such an admirable quality doing what one's told. And she kind of is like preoccupied, like looking at other stuff. Kind of
quality that one needs to get around in this life. If you're always rebelling for no reason or another, how are you ever going to get anything done?
And so she like pivots on her heel and just says, but I really must insist that you make sure I am entrusting you personally, and I will hold you responsible if this falls through, to make sure that these droids, which are not the property of Utico, are paid salary as individuals. And she's just like very stubbornly insists. And I kind of want to browbeat this dude into
like intimidate him?
Doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to be like, fucking
roll
treat these people like people.
I'll give my triumph boost to you as well.
Okay, yeah, one upgrade.
Got the boost.
Upgrade.
Yes, intimidate. Is that a skill in this game?
There is a skill for intimidating. Coerce, yeah.
Oh, I'm not good at coercion, but whatever, I'll do it.
You've got an upgrade, so yeah.
Believe.
Do we have any light side points that I can spend?
You do, yeah. You want another?
I will gobble up all of the party's resources.
Another upgrade.
Like a horrible monster. All right.
Friendly monster. Droid rights monster. We love it. That's light side if I ever heard.
Yeah, don't make me organize a strike, damn it.
You're ready. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, well, I get 2 successes, so there we go.
You take a strain, because it is like a stressful situation. But yeah, you do manage to succeed, and he sort of like realizes that you're made of metal and quite a lot taller than him. You know what I mean? Like midway.
Yeah, she plays it up. She like leans in.
Yeah, like midway through the conversation, and he sort of like reaches up to adjust his like little goggles a little bit, or like fidget, in his pockets. He says, "Well, I can send a message that they should be that things should be readjusted, appropriately, but it's not up to me. It's not up to me personally. You're acting like I can do anything about this."
Yeah, and she kind of rolls her eyes like, "That's because I know you can do something about it, Zebo. Stop weaseling your way out of it."
And he's just like, "I'll talk to the people in charge. We'll get everything fixed up for you."
We'll see that you do. And Mabel is just like suddenly very like self-satisfied, like, yeah, I talked to the manager and I got something changed. Like, oh yeah.
He says he like follows. He's like, wait, hold up. I got a question for you, actually. Now you're here. Do you have a problem with them actually working for, like, if they were to get paid, is the problem that they're going to be in potential danger, or you just want them to get the option?
Yes, what matters is that it is their choice. They are not being conscripted. They are under no obligation to work for you if they find other work. They can be treated like any other person would be treated.
I think there's a brief pause that suggests that like something is up, you know? And he says like, yeah, I mean, they'll get a choice.
And she reflects on it a bit and then says, actually, you know what? No, I don't think that's satisfactory for me because a lot of people aren't given real choices. And I think if you treat them like you would treat anyone else, that's still not good enough.
He says, I mean, not a lot of jobs around here. Not a lot of people to work for. You take what you can get.
Yes, but always we are getting the worst.
Plenty of humans on the line, same as them.
Well, I will speak to the droids and see who is inclined and who is actually consenting to this conscription. And I will let you know if I am unhappy with any of the arrangements that have been put forward.
Yeah, of course. You can come talk to me again. Like I said, it's not up to me.
And next time you do something like this, just please talk to me first.
But then, wouldn't you be the one with the choice, and they're all listening to you?
It's not. Don't twist it around. And she like waggles a finger at him.
Yeah.
When you spin it your way, it doesn't really sound like a choice to them most of the time, for one. And for another, you don't treat them very well.
I mean, new paint job. That's a little better than some of them have been doing.
Yeah, and like Mabel's shoulders just kind of slump. Like she's like, there are two different conversations are happening, and she's just like getting sick of it. And she just kind of like sighs and just turns around and walks away. Like doesn't even like give him any courtesies or whatever.
He just like lets you go because it's like, all right, this conversation with weird droid is over. You know,
he doesn't want to be talking to me anyways.
Yeah.
How unobtrusive would it be for me to just like low-key fuck with the power to this room? Just to like kind of put a full stop and just like show solidarity to Mabel?
So you can.
If it's like a big deal, then I won't do it.
I will say that you can do it, but I want to remind you that this is an armory. You know what I mean? Like fucking with things in here will have dire consequences if you don't succeed in doing it in a way that like is stealthy.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a cute thing that you could do.
It would be like a what the fuck are you fucking with, and then armed guards shoot you. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. So you can do it. You're welcome to do it, but
I'll let him off this time.
Okay.
So yeah, I think
sabotage.
For Mabel, this whole experience has been like very frustrating and disappointing, and like she's worried, but she couldn't like. There wasn't like a clear thing that she could actually do about it.
I think the thing for you as well, like as Mabel, like Mabel knows that there are people within Utico who would treat the droids as like people. You know, like people in the various squads might be good. Like the ideology behind like a droid being sentient, quote unquote, is like as varied a thing as there is. You know what I mean? But it just happens a lot that the people in charge don't seem to think so, or the people who have like authority are the ones who are a problem, right? Like,
it's almost like in a capitalist system, everybody who's doing well is doing so by exploiting others.
Weird, right?
It is like that.
Very strange.
But it only happens in space.
So yeah, I think like she just felt very like little. She feels very small after this interaction, and she like is pacing outside.
What probably chafes you a fair amount, like knowing the structure of things, like just to fill in a little, is that that Zemo is like not a large cog at all. He's just like an annoying middle management kind of guy, who has like some small authority over some small part of a larger organization. And it's like, you may have gotten him to like concede on something, but that doesn't necessarily mean like that the company's efforts are going to change in any way, right?
So yeah, she just kind of feels defeated by the whole thing and is like glumly standing in the turbo lift afterwards.
I mean, just putting it out there. We could do some industrial sabotage. I don't know how bad you're feeling right now, but it's like...
Yeah, and there's like a little twitch of her hand like closing into a fist briefly.
Who is this Omni? I like
Omni cares a lot about droids.
I like it.
I'll do crimes. I stole a spaceship. What's industrial sabotage?
I don't know, but that almost felt like it was an accident. Like he just woke up on it, I hit all the buttons, and then just put it on.
I'm coming into the life. Everybody's rubbing off on me. You're a bad influence.
Yeah, and
it's worth it.
So Mabel, I think, in reply, just like puts a hand, like pats them on the back, and says like, yeah, I appreciate the thought, Omni, but, and like just trails off. Like there isn't a tidy, outcome to this, and she's just upset and like needs some time, I guess.
Yeah, there's not a good answer, right? Like it's just your obligation causing you strain. Yeah. So are you headed back up to Madame Harani's, or are you headed somewhere else, Mabel?
I think Mabel goes back to like her place.
Okay, like back to like the droid place.
Yeah, the little like.
And there are still droids something here. It's clear that not everybody is like complied with, the like people who have this, or the droids that have the same sort of spirit of things as you do. Like there's quite a lot of them still here, but it is markedly less populated. Like this district, quote unquote, is like markedly less populated. There are fewer bodies by a large margin. It's clear that like the quote unquote opportunity of work or purpose has like enticed or
is like alluring to a lot of folks here.
Even as like you have to do it sort of commandment is enticing to a lot of the broken down Imperial droids.
Yeah, so I think Mabel like makes her usual rounds and like checks up on folks and talks to them and this kind of stuff.
Omni, are you with Mabel, or did you head back up to Madame Rani's?
I think when Mabel kind of goes home, it feels a bit like I want to be alone for a bit.
Yeah, you get that vibe from her for sure.
Yeah, so I'll go back and meet up with the others.
Okay. So you walk back into Madame Harani's like probably like an hour later, taking the ride down the turbo lift, yelling at Zemo and coming back. It's like an hour. And Xyle and Kryno, have you been like hanging out here the whole time, or you got, you want to visit the gym, or like?
Nah, last time I went to a gym, I suplexed a guy and then started talking to a corporate villain.
I mean, it happens,
For you, that's a pretty good day, I feel.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna take Xyle there. They're impressionable.
That's true.
Okay, so what? Like, I imagine the conversation at Xyle and Kryno's table is probably about speeder bikes, or about speeders during the re-arrival of Omni.
That makes sense.
Oh, so you bought one already, or shopping around?
No. We just found a distributor who would give us a discount if we let them win the race.
That sounds great. How much are we talking? Like, if I remember right, you're looking about 3,500 credits. Mine.
Well, Squeaker said that he could get us something for around 3,000. But there was the possibility of a discount available on one condition.
Right. The aforementioned throwing of the race.
Yeah. Yes. Not exactly a fan of that, but I understand that it is Chrono's of the opinion that if we throw this first race and then did another one and won that one, we could possibly win our money back, as it were. But
well, what if you think about it like this? The 1,000 credits that you save could be 1,000 credits we can use in between the two races to make sure you win.
I mean,
I've got some ideas for engines.
Ultimately, like, this comes down to, us making a decision as a team, since this is everyone's money. I mean, of course, I'm motivated to win. I want to win, but I also know that, like, 4,000's not a small amount of money to pay, and we don't know how much longer we're going to be here, so making nice with the locals isn't exactly the worst idea.
And there's room in the cargo for this speeder, so it's a...
Well, I wanted to make sure that we got something we could all use. It didn't seem to be any point in getting something that only I could use that would be of no use to us later on. With a passenger speeder, we can get around so much faster, and not have to crawl through so many. I mean, I like crawling through the fungal jungle, as you like to call it, but I know it's not always the best way of getting about.
We could put the flamethrower on it.
I mean, I suppose that's a possibility. But yeah.
I know, would you rather have the R1 or the fire car?
Oh, I'm fine with either. I don't actually have a preference.
Well, Mabel's not here, so it's not like we can make the decision without her. I know that she probably has lots of things she could think of to use with those credits for.
Mabel's taking some time. There's it looks like somehow Unico knows something's up out there. Do we leave any traces?
Well, I don't know. I mean, are we trying not to? I mean, at least with Unico anyway. Are we trying not to?
Well, yeah, I thought that was the plan.
Oh, you mean about with all
the places that we've not been to.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not entirely sure they're not after that Star Destroyer.
I don't know it's there.
Ooh, but they might.
Wait, why?
What happened?
Okay, no. I'm not saying from something I know. I'm saying they might know it's there. They just didn't know where it was. If they finally figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows the Sundara crashed. Just a lot of people didn't have any idea where.
But they've probably been looking for a while.
Is that true? Elf?
I don't think.
I was under the impression they didn't.
I don't think that the Sundara crashing is particularly open knowledge, but if you have access to Imperial data, then it would be easy to discover, right? Like, so Unico knowing wouldn't be a surprise, like high ups.
Yeah, it wasn't like encrypted, was it? It was just like weirdly on a list if you weren't looking hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I misinterpreted the situation.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. I would just,
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. Well, I mean, reframing it then. I mean, if they do know about it, I mean, that would just show how resourceful they are, and It's not like they don't have the time to kind of look over things. I mean, they practically run the entire planet. Eventually, they're going to stumble on something that they might not have expected to find.
So if it's going to take them a while to mobilize, we need to get in there and take what we can quickly.
There's something. He told me there's something that might be particularly important to the planet inside of the ship. Something that will help the planet push out unwanted entities, as it were.
Who did?
She did. Pana did.
Oh, right.
Okay.
They intimated that it doesn't exactly want you to go here, and that's what kind of work they're doing.
Then that's even another reason that we should head out as soon as we can. I'll speak to my little friend and see how the prep's coming along. See if we can beat him to it.
Little friend.
Do I have his name?
Bosuck.
Bosuck. Yeah, the Jawa who I've been doing the scrap stuff with.
That makes sense. Got it.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you were there for the
No.
session. It was I found the information that he wanted, which was the coordinates of the Star Destroyer, and I was like, I know this information, you're kind of not giving me enough. And he was like, okay, we'll split salvage rights, and also I'll give you a bunch of salvage for your ship.
Okay.
It's, you know,
I mean, when he says split, obviously he means
split.
Like,
I mean,
you know,
they've
10%
got the machines
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be able to go and take what we want. Kind of.
Mabel, what are you up to during all this? Because you're doing your rounds, you're just taking care of your people, like just generally like doing any like maintenance you need to do with them. But is there anything you want to do like regarding Yutiko in general? You want to go over to Zemo's head? You want to like talk to someone? You want to like do any of that kind of stuff?
Don't think so. I think she's actually just really bummed out.
Yeah, just really sad.
Like she had this thing happened and she went and was like, I'm going to do something about it. But then like it dawned on her that was kind of a ridiculous stance to take and that she needs to like reconsider what she's doing.
That it's like difficult to take that stance. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's coming up with a new plan.
Coming up with a new plan, and I assume going to meet up with the gang relatively.
At
like
some point.
Next day or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like if we're going to go salvage a Star Destroyer, like she'll show up for that.
You want to be there for that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we said we were going to try and find a charger for RST3, right? Like a dock.
Yeah, there is one that is like working sort of for him at the moment. That was like one of the threads. So Ami, you wanted to talk to Bosuck? Is that a thing you want to do like today, quote unquote?
Yeah, okay. I think it's. I don't know whether Bosuck will have assumed that the increased.
No, yeah, of course. Are you bringing the gang, or are you just going on your own?
I probably would have said like. Yeah, it only takes me like a few minutes, and the rest can just kind of, unless you want to be with.
Yeah, or Kryno
with
and
me
Zyle
to talk to.
Coming to speak to this Jawa, or just Ami.
Jawa time. All right,
friends.
Omni.
It's okay.
Omni, go.
All right, Omni. So, you head over to Bosuck's stall, and he's in a frenzy of activity himself. He has, several data pads open that he's like reviewing records on, and just generally, trying to like organize the run, though he's keeping that to himself. He looks up and he goes, "What? Hey."
Hey, I guess you noticed that.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a little bit of a, a speedy endeavor as much as I can make it. I was hoping to make it a stealthy one, but it looks like I'm gonna have to be fast rather than good.
How could they know?
I don't know. I've been careful. I don't know what you've been doing.
Is there any chance we could try and get there as a little forward team? Try and make things easier for you so we could beat them to it?
I mean, salvaging a Star Destroyer, it's an operation, you know? Even the Durasteel plates, the hull is valuable. Like cutting pieces of that away, taking anything that's kept inside, we're gonna strip this thing down to the Titan curlies.
Right. Let's see how far Omni goes as a criminal. On our way in, looking at all the like drills and stuff, would there be like a specific kind of core machine that they'd be using, like that they kind of rely on for their operation?
You mean like the Utico stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean there are land vehicles which can be equipped with like various, arms, that like for laser cutting or like clearing or trucks for hauling salvage. There are a lot of like ground vehicles. And a lot of these vehicles that Utico uses for the heavy duty stuff are like wheeled vehicles. They don't use like the repulsor vehicles. Because of the weight involved or the equipment involved, like it's a little more reliable to just sort of like drive your way through. And they've got like cowcatcher style like clearance devices on the front to get through the rough terrain and like cut through the jungle in a very like violent sort of way.
Yeah.
And like these kinds of like heavy duty vehicles would be the ones that you'd sort of like be expecting to pull the weight on a endeavor like this. But it's hard to access a Star Destroyer, especially through its hull, if you don't have some kind of like fusion cutting device or like a like laser cutter, that kind of thing.
Okay, because I'm looking at this through a lens of it. I said sabotage less than 10 minutes ago.
You're
so
looking
it's on
to
my brain.
You're looking to you're looking to sabotage equipment. It is possible you could do this in like the mustering ground, so to speak. Like obviously these vehicles have like a garage or a like a hangar, quote unquote, that contains them. Because you can't park them outside and hope everything will work out generally, unless you've got like a laser fence. And there is a section outside in Bode City that's like a parking lot, quote unquote, for these kinds of like heavy industrial vehicles that is like fenced off with that like laser grid, sort of like electrically keeping the jungle from growing over it. So if you could get access to one of those places, you could probably do a lot of damage to various engines and other devices that could be problematic for the movement of such vehicles. But getting access to one of those places is not like any schlub can just like walk into the Utico equipment hangar kind of thing.
No. I'm coming up with fun but ridiculous plans.
Oh, that's good.
That's going to get everybody into trouble, hopefully.
Star Wars is about fun but ridiculous plans. It's like most of the whole series.
Yeah. So there's a bit of kind of like looking out over this like mustering ground, kind of nods and like goes back inside to everybody, rubbing the little like I guess it's like more of a stickers for them because they have the suction pods.
Yeah,
so think you'd be like
little like hand suction pods, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll sit down. I like slide into the booth with everybody.
Has Mabel like joined up with the group yet? I want to like if we can get everybody.
Sure.
Together.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
when you
she's
get
taking
when
some
you
time to
get
herself
when you
when
get
she comes
back,
back.
Mabel is also at the table, ready to listen to your cunning plan, Omni.
All right. Well, I spoke to Bozak, and it's going to be tricky to get there before them, or with any decent amount of time that we could use for salvaging. And without a way to make them go faster, I figure the easiest way is to make sure Unico goes slower.
What does that mean exactly?
Like, look around for like Unico employees nearby.
None within earshot.
Well, I did get these lovely new tools used for accessing parts of.
He wants to do sabotage. Sorry, I keep doing that. They want to do sabotage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mabel just like cuts through the like, it's just like, no, they're going to do sabotage.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Well, Omni, I think I can help with all of that. I know a great many droids who are now working for Utico and might be able to look the other way.
That's great. I was thinking we'd probably need a way to disrupt power. It's probably easier than disrupting the laser fields. Yeah, no. That's a whole thing.
I mean, if you take down the laser fields, you know that jungle is going to grow up over those vehicles like within hours.
Yes, but also, like you said with the armory, if anything goes wrong, lots of people with guns suddenly appear. Just
yeah, it's very dangerous potentially.
Yes, but if we can just kind of have people look the other way, that's really a lot easier than breaking the door down. But I got to ask. I mean, I feel like Kryno's probably in. But Zyle, this is a level of ruthlessness we perhaps haven't had to resort to before. I'm very surprised at myself, honestly.
Definitely not exactly like you. Are you sure you want to do this?
Well, being down there, seeing Mabel's family and the way that they're being utilized has got something.
Feeling a bit riled up?
Yeah, we should probably do this before I calm down.
All right. I mean,
Omni's like, before I change my mind.
Yeah.
Like before I lose the adrenaline and get freaked out.
well, I mean, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it at least as a team. But listen, I've been where you are, Omni. I know exactly the kind of feelings that are going through you right now. And yeah, I just want to make sure you're able to walk away from this feeling like it was worth it.
As an aside, maybe a speeder might help you make a quick getaway from the scene,
That being said, I
Monster.
can think of I think of something that we could do right now to make sure that we're not caught.
What's that?
Well, there's this lovely passenger speeder that could be just in the interest of having a clean getaway with vehicle. I don't know. It just seems like at this point it's a good team resource as opposed to something that just I want.
I already wanted it, but you're selling it really well.
I mean, I'm trying to anyway. I mean, as long as it's not just me.
That's fair.
All right, we got Crino on board. Mabel?
Yeah, and she nods.
All right, the question now becomes to throw or not to throw.
I'm not sure we're going to have the opportunity. Sounds like we're going to have to do this quickly. No moral conundrum for you. We'll just do different crimes instead of making you think about.
I mean, to throw or to not to throw the race is what I meant.
Yeah.
Because they had to fix the price.
I mean, I don't know if we're going to have time to do the race. It's not right now.
Oh.
Well, why not agree to throw the race? And then when the day comes...
Not throw the race? That seems like a really bad idea. Let's do it.
It seems like a bad idea. Okay.
It seems like an awful idea. I'm in.
Do you send an armed swoop gang after us?
I mean, they might do exactly that.
What are they gonna do exactly?
Kill us? Probably.
But so are you gonna talk to Squeaker?
Every time you say his name, all I can think about is squirrels from Emperor's New Groove, and chipmunks. That's all I can think of. Squeaker squeaking.
He's called Squeaker because of the Gamorrean language. I'm pigs, so it's not a bad analogy.
Squeaker squeaking. Okay. So Zyle will saunter on over.
So Zyle gets up from the table you're all at and goes over to Squeaker. And Squeaker is talking with a Gamorrean in Gamorrean. And looks up and says, "Oh, you're back."
I am indeed. It just took me a bit to get my crew together to talk things over. And we'll take that, Speeder. And we are amicable to the idea of tossing this race your way for that discount.
Excellent. I was hoping that you would say just that. Now, it will take me at least a day to bring the speeder landside for you. But I hope that you will be satisfied with our arrangement. Payment up front, of course.
Of course. And Zyle hands the chip over.
2,000 credits. Takes it. Somebody record that somewhere, wherever our credit pool is.
I think Mabel has that recorded, but I'm not sure.
Squeaker seems perfectly happy to accept Imperial credits. It's clear they do business at places other than Vode.
Will Squeaker take Utico credits as well?
Yeah, Squeaker would take Utico credits too.
All right, so it'll be in mixed currency. They're getting 975 Utico credits and the rest in Imperial.
All right.
Yeah, we don't want to give away liquid credit if we don't have to.
Okay.
And sorry, it's a total of 3,000?
It's 2,000.
Total of 2,000. Okay.
Because I have agreed to blow the race.
To throw the speeder race, yeah.
Yeah. Well, great.
Am I a chase of my word? I guess we're gonna find out.
So he takes the chip and puts it away, and says, "Wonderful. I will have it brought to the assembly area outside Vode City once it has been brought to the planet."
I appreciate you, Squeaker. Have a great rest of your day.
I always do. And sort of lets you go. Clearly gonna.
I'll kind of like has a bit of bounce to their step as they walk back. Oh, we're gonna get a speeder. We're gonna get a speeder.
You don't know what kind of speeder. You don't know what kind of speeder it's gonna be, but basic speeder is the deal. You know what I mean? So we can design that together once it arrives.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean over to the others as Xyle is bouncing back over, and I'm like, they very quickly forgot that they just agreed to throw a race. Like it's gone.
No. Teenagers and their toys.
That's true. Okay, fair enough.
Mabel just says, well, we don't even know that they could win the race in the first place, even if they tried.
That happens before Xyle gets back.
So Mabel's just like, yeah, I don't see what the problem is. It's
Kaido's not ready to parse all that.
even if Xyle were trying to win, it's not clear that it's a sure thing. So
What are we talking about? Why do you have that look on your face,
wondering what model it was going to be.
Okay.
We weren't sure whether you'd be able to be amenable to the make.
You're really terrible liar when you're trying to lie to your friends, right?
Really sweet.
It's a rather endearing quality, don't you think?
Yeah, we think we can make it nice, did you?
Why do you let me talk?
But fine, you keep your secrets. I'm excited. We are getting a speeder.
Are you gonna enter the race? Because like Mongum is probably around.
Oh, right. If he's there, for sure.
Okay.
You guys cool with me going and entering this race, though, right? I mean, I know that we might possibly not have the actual time for it, but at least we can enter it so that even if we miss it,
Yeah, just don't give us a really bad name.
Actually,
Yeah, what?
should you enter the race if you can't throw the race right now?
I mean,
Squeaker's gonna expect that you're on the roster, right?
yeah, I think it's going to look a little bit suspicious that we fought the.
If you show up and you don't ride, I guess that is throwing the race.
It's a big throw.
I'm so chicken I can't even show up. Anyways, I'm gonna go sign us up for a race, y'all. And Xyle kind of like
Xyle once again leaves the table of three. The table of three continue their gossip.
they're just very excited.
Back over to Xyle. Xyle approaches Mongum, who has in the time you have known them, never stopped eating. You know what I mean? They always have.
I can respect that appetite.
They always have some plate from Chef Stack's kitchen, in front of them.
Yeah, big respect for a gourmand of that caliber.
And this time it looks like a bunch of snails. And it's the kind of big land snails almost that you'd scoop out of the shell to eat the the soft part, but he's just eating them like pretzels. You know what I mean? Just picking up the whole thing and just eating this sort of fairly large land snail looking thing. Hand-sized snail. But anyway, you approach and he looks up. He wipes his mouth with his sleeve, and says, "You want something?"
Yeah, I'd like to sign us up for the race. Me and what?
Got yourself a speeder, did you? I saw you talking to Squeaker over there.
Yeah. I've managed to acquire a speeder, and I have a team, and I'd like to sign up for the race.
What name am I putting you under here? And he takes out a data pad that looks like it has a barbecue sauce stains on it. You know what I mean? It's he's put his finger on it while it's been dirty.
Was Xyle's naming sense I'm very excited to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I didn't even think about the fact that there need to be a name. I think we can be called something along the lines of in vogue races. In vogue.
All right. He doesn't really care. He just writes it in vogue racers. Done.
And can you draw the O in the A in the races to look like a 4?
Just edits the sign up sheet, momentarily. and sets the data pad back down aside from his meal and goes like, "There you go, signed up. We'll see ya 2 days from now, starting line."
2 days. Great, fantastic. You're an absolute gem, and I'm super excited for this race.
I know I am. Takes another snail and like, just horks it down.
How are those, by the way? I have been eyeing them on the menu. Haven't given them a try yet.
You want one?
Maybe not this instant. I'm mostly just curious as to how you like them.
Crunchier than I expected.
Crunchy. Great. That's an excellent. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you in a few days. And so I will, kind of jauntily.
I imagine in Chef Stack's menu that the snails are described as like, these like smooth, deliciously flavored spiced snails or whatever. You're not supposed to eat the shell. It's like somebody eating a whole egg rather than the like, like. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I imagine that like if there are any snake or reptilian species that they would.
Oh, sure. And like, nobody's going to make fun of them for just eating the whole snail. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
It's clearly not the prescribed method of doing so.
I mean, the chef probably has a preferred way that they'd like people to consume their food, but people will often ignore that if they have their own ways of doing things.
It's shrimp with the shell on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people that eat at least the tails of shrimp. That's pretty common, but like the entire shell is not as much. Anyways, Zion like moves their way back. All right, we are signed up for the races. This is excellent. Our speeder will be here tomorrow. The race is in 2 days.
Now all we've got to do is successfully complete industrial sabotage and also go and try and set up a forward scout of a crashed Star Destroyer and have you back in time to not win a race.
It seems like a lot to accomplish.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
I was really
Omni.
hoping the time frame.
I mean, that breakdown kind of.
First.
Don't forget about repairing the speeder in time for both plans.
Yeah, whatever it is that we're about to get for only 2,000 credits is definitely going to be a fixer-upper.
Mabel's just like, I'll prepare some stimulants for you. Anticipating the fact that they're going to have to do like 3 all-nighters in a row.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
ready. I'm prepped. I love it.
In the meantime, what are you going to be up to, Grino?
I'm not sure. There are some bounties that, well, actually, I may have given myself a bit of a Utico problem.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good.
No, it's not.
What exactly happened? I mean, if you're willing to share.
Well, the whole point of going to the Fog Wardens was to give the Utico exec their location.
Right.
And then we came back.
Yeah.
And you all became friendly with them, which changed a bit of my plans.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine that would make things a bit tough.
Yes.
I told you we should have thought of a plan, Zyle.
Listen, sometimes you can't plan for every instance. Like, none of us knew that we would end up liking them and thinking they were kind of
mushrooms
neat.
that are people that explode.
Well, only if you fuck with him.
But, so the question is, do I tell Utico where they are now or not? Which is a bit of a debate.
It's really up to your conscience.
Something that might occur to you, Chrono, is you had your comm on during the because you left it on like during the conversation with Panakatar, right? Like while that was all going on, she was the one who mentioned this. She mentioned the Sunderer during it and knowing where it was, and you came back and all this activity was happening. So just.
No, I'm glad you made that connection. I was wondering. I was wondering if she was
like, is
by communicating.
How bad is this? How deep does this problem go?
Oh, pretty bad. Like, they hate them.
No. I mean, like, is there something that we specifically need to be worrying about?
morally or physically?
I mean,
Wondering.
the moral quandaries that we... Yes, actually, both, I guess.
This actually presents us an unexpected opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned it was out there, but you didn't mention where. Why don't we send them on a wild Star Destroyer?
Don't do that.
Why?
Wait. Oh, wait. Like send them to the wrong location on purpose.
Exactly.
I am willing to let you do that with no connection to myself.
You go break your knees.
Yeah. When they find out that, or if they find out that you lied, they'll kill you for free.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure I want any of you to die. I mean, they would be really inconvenient.
Oh, to be honest, I could just go cash in on credits right now. Yeah.
Well, then why
You're not entirely sure you wouldn't be sending them to the middle of nowhere, considering the wardens move around. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. But I risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, of course.
Because if nothing else, I at least have a quantifiable number, which is not something they had before, and someone that can take them there, because Takada is way more connected than he gave on.
True.
But you could give them, because they care less about the Fog Wardens than they do about the Star Destroyer. So you could say that the Fog Wardens gave you the location of the Star Destroyer.
Rhino, I'm not going to lie about it. I just called you Rhino. Omni, I'm not going to lie about it. Why would I do that? Why would I lie about a job that I took? That makes you unreliable. I'm reliable. So I either tell them the truth, or I just give them some of the truth, or I don't say anything. But if I lie, then my reputation's tainted. I don't do that.
It's a big deal for you,
I feel like at the reputation's tainted part, there's a shot of like Keld over your shoulder, like still drinking her like, you know, orange shots or whatever. Clearly a woman who doesn't give a shit about that.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, Keld is a character. But we all need to look Keld in life. So why do you want to give them the Star Destroyer actually? You care more about the people than the Star Destroyer?
No, I don't want them to have either.
Actually, Mabel, how do you feel about that? They are former Imperial.
The Fog Wardens could look after themselves.
Certainly it's important to me to believe that people can be more than what they were programmed to be. And so that the Fog Wardens are people who have come around to a better way or to the right side of a conflict is admirable and good. Took a lot of courage. I also want to get off of this planet.
Well, maybe there's a middle ground. I can speak on how many there are. So at least that is true information. And I'm sure that it would make me a little more useful, which there's probably plenty to keep them interested and preoccupied. And they just need a bounty hunter to guide them in that direction.
Certainly having you ingratiate yourself with the higher-ups of Utico could be useful in the future.
And if you pay me well enough, hey, then you have someone reliable on the inside. Wink. And I say wink out loud because you can't see my face.
Do you wanna take that meeting? Do you want to take that meeting, Chrono? Not to interrupt the current group chat.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Like, we could do that now because we're coming to like almost the end of the session, and I know like your role is up in the air. So let's get our Let's get our conversation in with Utica. So you like flash to probably like the next morning or something, you know, or like late evening maybe. Chrono, you're alone, headed down the turbo lift to like the Utica executive, you know, like the department. And you make your way to the like down the halls, very clean, very well maintained down here, to the office that has a like gold like plaque that you know says like Jander Vix, you know, public coordinator Utico kind of thing on it. The person you want to talk to for like Utico business, the Moralian that you met like some time ago, the like green-skinned executive. And you make your way into the office. You push the door open, and there's a secretary, and she's sort of like, there's a vignette of you speaking to her. We don't have to go into like all of that, you know. And I imagine the shots to be like a silent, like low shot from the ground of like Boots' movement through the sort of like steel corridor into the lushly appointed reception area, and then into an office. And then behind a large sort of a white fungal wood desk in the office, there's Jander, the person that you met before, wearing a sort of like very, very, how would I describe it? Like opulent almost like attire, very, very upscale attire for Vode, like, you know, executive on Coruscant level sort of attire. And he stands when you come in, and he says, the bounty hunter, I heard about you. What can I do for you? And there's sort of like potted plants in the background of the shot, you know, like a sort of a red and gray painted wall.
I've got some info for you about your fog warden problem.
Not for me. No. But if you wait just a moment, he hits a button on his desk and he says, "Dear, I think this one's for you." And like lifts the button on the intercom and then says, "If you'll excuse me." And he like steps out of the room as if he's like leaving his own office, you know. And the familiar form of Zayla Rax, who you wrestled, steps in, like swapping places with him, basically.
Weird.
And she leans against the desk in a very like devil may care sort of posture, and says, "He doesn't like to hear the gory details. What have you got for me?"
So the fog wardens, they do move around consistently. Their leader is the person that you mentioned. Definitely makes sense for the value of the bounty, but as of right now, claiming that, near to impossible. Not impossible, but near to impossible. What I can give you is some reliable information. Although they do move around, their numbers are fairly exaggerated. And I think there was 8 of them, you said, Elf?
Oh, there are like 40.
Like actual fog wardens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's what it is it's a company of stormtroopers, which would be 200, cut down through attrition to like 40
that
remaining
makes sense.
members. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is about 40 of them. But between you and me, it seems like they can sense vibrations through the earth, through some freaky planet.
She's while you're talking, she pulls out like a very fancy looking knife and is like picking her nails with it, you know, and just like listening to you as you talk.
Hot. Scary.
He says, "They can sense something?"
Yeah. Think of it like sending tremors through the ground, I think. So if you're looking for them, to be honest, your best bet, aerial.
Not a bad idea, though the jungle cover may prove a problem.
Yeah.
You say you've been to their camp. I heard you in their camp. Are you
Yes, you did.
close to them? Could you get close enough to shove a blaster down that woman's throat for me?
Probably not, because I had thought about trying multiple times. They're very protective, and strangely enough, so is the plant life.
The plant life.
Yeah. Think of a symbiotic relationship.
Interesting. I thought them just a mere nuisance, but you're presenting them as potentially a lot more of an issue.
They've evolved.
She sighs and like flips the knife in her hand and like tucks it back away on like a belt sheath. And she says, "Don't come to Jander with any of this. Come to me. I'll make sure that any business regarding the more tawdry aspects of our company is dealt with. You're going to make sure you can give me a precise location. When you're there,"
Yeah.
she takes a tracker out of her like belt pouch and like tosses it over to you. It says, "When you're there, activate the beacon. We'll send squads immediately. And maybe we can be rid this problem."
May I offer you potentially a counterpoint that works even more in your favor?
She waits as if like she waves you on, basically.
Takeda.
Takeda. The Authorian?
Takeda. Yeah.
What about him?
He has a close connection with them in ways that I don't.
I see. Well, it provides another avenue, but I like to work closely with my associates, and you seem like a reliable sort of person.
Oh, damn it, Elf.
You've made it clear that you're willing to stab these people where it hurts. And I like to know my associates are willing. Not that I would have any trouble otherwise, but it's just easier that way.
Yeah, I get it.
Take the tracker, activate the beacon once you meet with her again. The others I don't care about. The leader is important. Take the head off the snake and all that. When you meet with her again, activate the beacon, and I will send my best men to deal with the problem. Perhaps I'll even come myself. Wouldn't that be fun?
Terrifying.
Is that all?
Roger that. That is all. My compatriots, Omni, Zio, Mabel.
I'm familiar with them, yes.
They won't be an issue. They're working on other things themselves.
I'm glad to hear it. I do hate entanglements.
None there. They seem more interested in, I think, racing. I think that'll probably preoccupy them for the next month or so, to be honest.
She nods and says, "Keep me updated, and I'll make sure you're well paid. For now, I think we're done here."
Then I'll walk out.
You leave the richly appointed office building kind of situation and head back up the turbo lift, and we'll cut it there for this week. Hooray! Drama.
So hopefully that means Utico will leave you all the hell alone.
I love good drama. Let's do our shout outs. Aki, you want to go first?
Hi, everybody. I'm Aki, and you can find me on Twitter at MixGenie in a Bottle. That's MXGINIINABOTTLE. And my entire Twitch schedule is available over my personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/HidariAki. That's SHIDAREAKI. I mean, I'm not up to anything particularly special. Same as usual. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Dave.
Oh, hello. if you'd like to find me on stuff, it's Dave_the_human on Twitter. Gosh, thank you all for coming and watching. As always, I love this world, and super thank you to the folks on the Discord who are helping to flesh it all out. It would not be half as fun, I don't think, if there weren't proper nouns everywhere that you made up.
The
with
Discord
things
is
for.
fantastic for proper nouns. Yes.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's really all for me.
Wonderful. Gabe, you want to go?
Sorry, I got distracted. I think I'm smelling breakfast biscuit sandwiches from one of my neighbors. Hi, I'm
Could
Gabe.
you do your shout out, please?
You can find me at Gabe James Games across the internet, Twitch, Twitter, wherever. I'm the in-house game designer for Roll20, so there's exciting game things coming out. And I've been sleeping more. That's pretty much it. That's my exciting thing.
Great. Andrew?
Yeah, I'm Andrew. You can follow me on Twitter at CommutingCrow.
Wonderful. And of course, there's myself. I'm DistractedElf. You can find me at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter at DistractedElf, where I do a whole bunch of stuff. Recently, I think it's gonna be some Stellaris if you're following me on the old main channel. And of course, I can't finish a Desperate Gamble shout out without mentioning the Discord, obviously. Wonderful place to if you want to help, build the world that we are in. The Discord is always jumping with cool people, so please give it a go. And last but not least, of course, Roll20 themselves. Roll20 is a virtual tabletop program that we use to run this game, and that's how we play. So if you're also looking to play some RPGs with people who are at disparate locations, or people who are in the same room, I don't know, I'm not your mom, you can do so on roll20.net. Sign up for free at www.roll20.net. Roll20. You can keep all your campaign stuff in one place, and you won't forget that you wrote that note down in your notebook backwards and upside down on the back page that said, Ketchup Dragon or something, and it'll be in a nice, neat folder somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Sign up for Roll20, and we'll see you next week for more Desperate Gamble. Later, nerds!